everybody to our very first ever live Bubbles with Bethany. I am here with one of my favorite clients, one of my favorite humans, Vanessa Alfaro. We are live at Peak Partnership. We've got some live audience today, which is kind of fun. I feel like Ellen DeGeneres. This is so cool. This is so much fun. And Vanessa, she spoke today, and I'm going to ask the same questions that I always ask, but I do want to talk about some AI, and I think Jared's going to have some questions for you about AI as well, because this is the AI queen. You've got an AI company. Jared's the AI king. It's going to be kind of fun. I want to see some like head-to-head action. But welcome first. Can I please toast to Vanessa of Venus Capital? Cheers. Thank you for being here. And we're doing the Barbie card next. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Oh my God, it's so fun to do this live. I might have to do this live every week.
It is champagne.
It's real champagne. Yeah,
It is real champagne.
it is. Actually, I'm just gonna hold that because I'll probably need it. Okay, so here's how it's gonna work. We do have a live audience, so we're gonna have some questions. If you have a question, unfortunately, I won't be able to hear you. So if you can type it into the chat, I do have somebody monitoring for us. So if you do have questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. We will get to them as time allows. I'm super excited that you're all here. This is really, really awesome. And I am gonna want to hear about all the things you're doing. But first, Vanessa, can you please tell everybody here and there, what is your unique superpower?
Oh my God, I talked about that today.
Did you? And I'm sorry, I
talked about my
missed her talk.
superpower, and she means a superpower thing. Because I actually said that when you come into this industry, everybody asks you about your superpower. And like usually you get into one box. It's like you are capital raising, or you are like asset management, or you are acquisition, and everybody puts you in those boxes. And I struggle a lot for a long time finding my superpower, because I was like, I am not the best capital raiser. I am not the best underwriting. I mean, I can do it, but anyhow. And then I realized that my actual superpower is actually building and scale businesses.
Which is huge. Yeah.
I had a realization. I just have to find the right team, the best in the other superpowers.
Yes.
That's what I do. And then I build and scale businesses. And every time you buy a property, what do you have?
You have
A new business.
New business. Well, and hopefully you're building a syndication business, but in order to buy all these properties, right? And that's what a lot of people do not understand, though. So I love that you're talking about scaling, because a lot of people, they do that and they're like, I'm just going to go buy property and I'll do it with these people. I'm going to go buy property and I'll do it with these people. And they're sort of just getting kind of led around, and they don't build a business.
Well, you build one business that own many other businesses. Each property is a business. If you think about business, what is a business? You find a product, you put a business plan together, you put all the legal stuff, that's your work, your job, and then you scale the business, and then you exit. What do you do with the property? You find the product, it's a property. You put the legal stuff, the syndication, and then you scale the property, you make money, you increase the NOI, and then you sell. It's a business over and over, every property. And then you have your big company, which is owning all these other businesses.
Yes, I love that so much. And because I think that in this industry, a lot of times, we talked about this last week when I had Ashley Wilson on, and we were talking about, she's an asset manager, right?
I know, actually, she's awesome.
She's amazing. And the thing that people forget sometimes is this business does not end at the capital raise. It starts. It starts at the capital raise. The acquisition is exciting. You're finding something new, and it's like this shiny object. You get to go hunt, and hunting is fun, right? And then when you're raising capital, hunting is fun. But then you got to work. You know, you have to roll up your sleeves, and you have to. The asset management is so important.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work, and you have to implement the whole business plan that you sold your investors. And then you have to make it a reality, and then you exit. But you have to be successful in implementing, which I think is the hardest part.
Yes, I agree.
Of the whole property.
And that is the only way to scale. Because if you keep going and buying more properties and buying more properties and buying more properties, you still have to manage them. So if you don't have systems in place to do that, and you don't have a business set up to do that, you can't scale. You just buy too much, and then you're drowning, right?
Right.
And that's happened. If you look at the market that's happening right now,
all the
It's
time,
happening.
especially
It's happening.
especially to the syndicators that, I'm sorry, decided to like being rich in 2021,
Mhm.
just buying every property that was in their path,
Yes.
over leverage, buying in a bridge loan because everybody was throwing money at you.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is a lot of syndicators that just wanted to build wealth, and they have 10, 15, 20 properties just in a bridge loan, and they don't have any way to get out of all
Yeah.
these deals right now.
I get a call about every other week or so of a client saying they need to do a capital call. They need to reconfigure their debt. They have to try to buy down their debt. They have to buy a rate cap because
Cash
they
in.
expired. They got to cash in. They can't. I mean, and or
Nobody teach you about cash in, by the way,
No.
in this business until now.
right.
Like, but you go to all these multifamily events and nobody mentioned cash in.
No.
You don't know that that exists until you are in the business, right?
That's right. Until you're in the shit, right? And it's sad to me because I think people kind of forget, or we have a lot of young people in this community too. Nothing wrong with being young, but I think a lot of times people forget what happened several years ago. I think they thought in 2020, 19, how old am I? 2020, 2021, that you were just going to make money forever. If you fell over a property, you were just going to make money unless you're an idiot. And people did. Right. And
Right.
some of them were idiots, right? And so they made money until they didn't. And now they don't know how to manage it. And that's the calls I get. Is I've had a lot of clients that they manufactured returns to give their investors returns, only for the next quarter have to turn around and say, I'm doing a capital plan. And so it's like, why
How do
did
you
you get the return?
manufacture returns?
So manufactured returns.
I mean, I know you can put any number in Excel sheet. I love Excel sheets.
Oh, yeah.
Change
And-
1%, everything's gonna be
everything's
so
wonderful.
pretty.
Everything's roses. Well, and everybody knows that projections are pretty much just made up numbers.
Right.
But they have to be made up with some sort of reasonableness to them.
So they made up projections without any logic.
Well, they either made up projections
Data.
or they made up cap rates, right?
Oh, that's
or-
my favorite part. When I see a deal that they're buying at a 6% cap and they're going to exit at 4.5.
Yeah. Based
So,
on
Based on CoStar.
right.
CoStar is
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
that the cap rate right now is 5. So we believe that the market's going to go up, everything is going to be beautiful, and then we can sell 4.5. Of course, the deal is
Yeah.
going to make 19% annualized return.
Yeah, and there's got to be some basis for reason, and the people that have been around a minute seen it happen, and it's gonna eventually go back up. It is, but you've got to build yourself a business where you can afford to hold on to a property until it does. Right, you've got to be able to manage the property. You got to be able to pay the insurance that's going up right now. You got to be able to pay the rates that are going up right now. Right, insurance is insane right now. You just have to
Yeah.
plan for it. If you can hold the property long enough to weather that storm, it will go back up. It does.
I just talked about that today as well, because my speech was about AI and multifamily market trends. So I had to show a little bit of charts and information of market trends. And I was talking about expenses as well. Actually, operational expenses went up 7.2% last year, just last year. That is double of the inflation rate. And taxes went up almost 11%, payroll 8%, and insurance in some states 400%. Like
Yeah.
crazy. Nobody put
Texas
those
is just trying to,
numbers.
like get everybody out of insurance right now. So.
Well, my New Orleans property went up 400% in insurance.
Which is crazy because there wasn't a new hurricane, right? Everybody
Right.
there wasn't a new one. I think the insurance went up after Katrina, right? And then people came in and tried to rebuild.
Right, but what happened is that all the careers leave New Orleans. And now they don't have anybody who wants to insure. And just like I think it's Citizen, which is the government program. And my insurance went from $25,000 or $30,000 to $140,000.
Yeah, so just raise rents. It's fine.
Well, New Orleans is in the top 10 cities that has been having a very healthy rent increase for 2023.
And that one is up and coming. Like there was a lot of work to be done in New Orleans because part of it is really run down and sad and damaged and whatever. So there's some So there's some upside to be had there, yes. But there's also only so high you could go up and people still be able to afford to pay it.
Right. Well, we are increasing rents. Well, like long story short, we found a program that actually want to take most of the units from our property and they're paying more than market rent. So that's positive.
Yeah.
But the problem is that you never counted that in your underwriting. So what's happening right now with everybody that make up those projections that they were not conservative enough, okay, and now they have 7% increase in their expenses, 10% in taxes, and 8% in payroll. You're not making money. How are you gonna make money?
Right.
Like, and if you buy in Dallas and Austin, what happened? Like, there's negative rent growth.
Well, and that's where a lot of these syndicators that are getting in trouble, the articles that are coming out that everyone's passing around. You see this
Houston.
one, Houston and Dallas are just in big
And
trouble.
Austin,
And
this
Austin,
the
yeah.
Sun Belt, but especially all these big markets in. But listen, this is the thing, and you know this because you do all my paperwork. We have been buying in secondary and tertiary markets, like very quiet. Everybody is fighting, scratching the surface in Dallas, and we are nope. Like Austin, we have never ever underwrite a deal in Austin. We don't want to. I know there is no way we're gonna buy a deal in Austin. But we buy in all these secondary and tertiary markets that nobody knows. And then it's very hard for us to raise money.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard because then you have a syndicator making up the projections showing 35% annualized return in 3 years. We give you your money back, you triple your money. And then we come like, hey, this is our property. It's in a market that you have never heard before.
Conservative increase there.
And we have 11% vacancy, and you're gonna make 25 years, but you have to be there for 7 years. And
Which is,
then,
I mean, that's pretty reasonable in real estate.
well, the smart investors invested with me, and now they're safe.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have been competing in that market, and they're like, with all the other craziness happening around.
Yeah.
But that's why it has been hard for us to raise money. Now they're so happy that I have investors that lost money in other properties that they just lost money.
Yeah.
It's pretty
But
sad.
it's hard to raise money for the first one. Then when you prove yourself, so now they're like, okay, now we trust you, Vanessa. We trust your team. We trust how you pick. We trust your buy box. We trust all things. And so then when you go out for the next raise, it becomes easier and easier and easier.
Yes, it's 100% it's easier, but it is not easier if you keep going into, as I said, these markets that people, I mean, you have to start explaining why you're investing in this market and why they have to invest in a small city versus Dallas or Austin, that everything is booming and everything looks so pretty.
But after a while, I mean, I think people have to start to understand that there is only so much you can do in that market, and then it's time to kind of move on, right? You can't just keep increasing rents in Dallas, otherwise what, the royal family's gonna move in? Like, who's gonna move there after that point?
No,
right?
you know how many new properties are coming into market in Dallas? There is no way
Yeah,
that
they're not gonna be
there's
able to
not
keep-
enough people to fill all the
I've
units.
even seen, I've had clients bidding against each other on the same properties because they're all fishing in the same pond. Right, and they're getting
It's a bidding
taught
war.
by a lot of the same people, and so they're all looking in the same markets because they're trying, like, let's all do this together, right? And then it's like, I had one client beat out another client, and I'm not even sure who I was happy for, you know? Because it's like, you might have dodged the bullet.
That
Yeah.
you won this property.
I know, you might have, because the bidding wars were insane, and they're in Phoenix too.
Oh my God. I mean, like, come on. Why would you buy in Phoenix at 2% cash on cash, 3% cash on cash?
Yeah, that was a market.
Like, not
that was
even
really
an
hot for a
institutional
minute.
investor would go into that.
And we
deal.
even saw our Phoenix people moving out to like New Mexico and just moving out a little further out. Even Vegas is, I don't know, there might be still a little room to do stuff in Vegas, but that's even quieted down a little bit. And I'm only seeing it from people coming to me and saying, hey, we're gonna raise, and they tell me where. I'm not
Oh,
researching.
can I
the
tell
market.
you a funny story?
Please, always.
Okay, so this broker, I have my acquisition team. And he calls me and say, hey, we made best and final, but they want to do a few modifications to the LOI. Okay, what are they asking? Well, they're asking to double the earnest money to 500,000. So from 2% to 4%. They're asking to shorten the due diligence to 25 days, calendar days. And they want us to close in 60 days since we go on the contract. I was like, I think that he better comes to me and tell me, okay, just to give him a blank check, because he's just trying to get $500,000 from my money.
Right.
Because he knows that I'm not going to be able to close in 60 days. I mean, like, which lender is going to close? And my money have to be hard after 10 days. Like,
That's
it's
not
just
even
better
okay.
that you
Wait,
tell
you're-
me
Okay.
that you want to steal my money.
Right.
Just like, hey, I just want to keep your money, and that's why I
But
want
you're
to
so
go.
pretty. Like, buddy, listen up.
Hey, Barbie.
Exactly.
Hey, Barbie,
Barbie
can
knows
I
how to-
steal
Barbie knows how to do
$500,000 from you? Just give me a check. I will steal it from you, and then after you put up a contract, then I will try to sell it again with someone else.
10 days is not
Great.
10 days is not enough. Not at all.
Yeah,
These
they just
people-
want to keep the money.
That makes me sad. It makes me sad that that's how it goes. But I get it. And but I'm so proud of you though, because you know you're not having it. Because I see people they
Don't
get
feel
they
for
fall in
that.
love with the property. They fall in love with the idea of doing a deal, any deal. I just want my first deal. I don't care. And you have to care.
People get desperate. I don't think they fall in love. I try not to even look at the properties, not even the pictures.
Yeah.
I don't even look any pictures until I know that the financials are good. I just see numbers.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
that's
good,
it.
That's a
Okay,
good plan.
I don't see pictures. I don't even see the CoStar report. Okay, nothing. Now, people is desperate, especially in the syndication world. They are all desperate to buy deals because that's the only money that you get to feed the machine.
Mhm.
You have employees, you have to pay your salary, and they have been desperate buying something because they need the money to manage the business. And in that desperation, okay, you buy things that are overpriced because you need the acquisition fee. And for new people, then the new students get desperate because they start seeing everybody buying deals.
Mhm.
And why is everybody buying deals and I'm not buying deals? I'm doing something wrong,
Mhm.
right? Everybody's getting deals like 200 units, 1,500 units, and then they get desperate because they feel that they're failing and they're a failure, and they get into any property that they can, the first one that they can, because they don't want to be left behind.
Right. Yeah. Or partnerships that maybe they shouldn't be getting into. Of someone
Yeah.
who picked a deal.
Well,
like, okay, I'll just go into
I
your
made
deal.
the same mistake too.
Everybody
So
has. Everybody has. And that's why, you know, we talk about this a lot is the most important thing in any of this, I think, is really diligence. Diligence on the people that you're gonna be working with, diligence on the property, the numbers, before you get, you know, sort of
Yeah.
emotionally
It
involved.
is so hard, and I do.